All right, well, welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive.
Definitely. Always up for a good deep dive.
So this time you sent in some articles about a recent test match between South Africa and Bangladesh.
Oh, yeah?
And looking them over, this one wasn't a straightforward win.
Hmm.
It looks like South Africa did take the victory, but
Right.
there are some underdog moments on both sides that I thought would be really interesting to unpack.
It's one of those matches that highlights the ebb and flow
Yeah,
of Test cricket, you know?
totally.
On paper, it might look like South Africa dominated from the beginning, but there were some really, I think, surprising twists and turns
Yeah.
that kept everyone on the edge of their seats, especially towards the end of day two.
Yeah, Bangladesh had a really, really rough start to their first innings. They were
Yeah.
bowled out pretty quickly,
Right.
and that gave South Africa quite a lead.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating to see how those early moments can sometimes foreshadow
Yeah.
the whole match.
Absolutely. It's like a chess game where that first strategic move kind of sets the tone for everything that follows.
Yeah.
And for Bangladesh, facing that early deficit meant they were playing catch-up right from the start.
Right.
But that's not to say they didn't have their moments.
Well, that's what makes this deep dive interesting.
Yeah.
Before we get to those moments, let's talk about Verreynne.
Oh, yeah.
Standout player, right, for South Africa.
He was.
That century.
Phenomenal performance by him.
Yeah.
Think about this. This was only his second Test century.
Wow.
And he became only the third South African wicketkeeper
Really?
to achieve that feat in Asia.
Wow.
Which is significant because playing in Asian conditions, especially as a wicketkeeper batsman, presents some unique challenges.
Yeah. What are some of those?
Well, the pitches in Asia are often known to be spin-friendly,
Okay.
which can be tricky for batsmen who are used to bouncier tracks.
Right.
Plus, wicketkeeper batsmen have the added pressure of spending long hours behind the stumps,
Oh, for sure.
which can be physically and mentally draining.
Yeah.
So to then come out and score a century under those circumstances
Right.
is a testament to his skill and stamina.
So even more impressive than it seemed at first.
Yes.
Especially since he brought up his century with a paddle sweep.
Yeah,
What a way to reach that milestone.
it was a fantastic shot.
It must have been electrifying to watch.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
And he didn't stop there.
No.
Verreynne followed that audacious paddle sweep with some powerful sixes,
Wow.
really taking the attack to the Bangladeshi bowlers.
Yeah.
So his innings were crucial in helping South Africa build a substantial lead.
Now, didn't South Africa almost kind of squander that lead at one point?
That's right. They had this sudden middle-order collapse
Oh.
that nearly turned the match on its head.
Okay.
They were, at one point, 108 for 6,
Oh, wow.
which means they lost 6 wickets with only 108 runs on the board.
Okay, so help me out. Like, I'm new to cricket here. Why is losing those middle order batsmen such a big deal?
So in Test cricket, your top-order batsmen are usually your most experienced, the most technically sound.
Right.
They're the ones you really rely on to build a solid foundation for your innings.
Right.
The middle order comes in when, the shine is off the new ball.
Mm-hmm.
The bowlers are starting to settle into a rhythm.
Right.
It's a crucial phase of the game. And if your middle order crumbles, it puts immense pressure on the lower order,
Okay.
who aren't typically known for their batting prowess.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So South Africa was in a really vulnerable position.
absolutely.
So that makes Verreynne's century even more important
It does.
because he basically rescued them from what could have been a disaster.
Exactly. His innings were the backbone of South Africa's first innings total.
Yeah.
He showed incredible resilience and determination to steady the ship
Yeah.
when it seemed like everything was falling apart.
It seems like he wasn't alone in that fight back.
You got it. He wasn't alone. Tell me more.
So,
Came into bat at number 8, really stepped up to the plate.
okay.
He scored his maiden Test half-century.
Okay.
I mean, for a player to achieve that milestone under that kind of pressure, it just shows immense character.
Maiden Test half-century.
Yeah.
So that means it was his first time scoring 50 or more runs.
Yes. In a Test
That's
match.
kind of about a clutch performance.
Exactly.
Wow.
It was a crucial contribution, and it helped shift the momentum back in South Africa's favor.
Wow.
But there was another sort of unsung hero in that innings,
Okay.
Dane Pete.
Okay.
He came in at number 10, which is the second last batsman.
Right.
And he's, primarily a bowler,
Yeah.
not known for his batting.
Right.
Yet he dug in, he battled his way to a gritty 32 runs.
32 runs.
Yeah.
from the number 10 batsman.
I know, it's incredible.
That's amazing. Why are those lower order runs so important?
Well, in Test cricket, every run is precious.
Yeah.
You know, those lower order runs can often be the difference between setting a challenging target or falling short.
Yeah.
And in this case, Piet's innings really frustrated the Bangladeshi bowlers.
Yeah.
And it added crucial runs to South Africa's total, further extending their lead.
Okay.
It was a true display of grit and determination.
Yeah.
You know, those runs might seem insignificant on the surface, but they can be really demoralizing for the bowling side
Right.
and give a real psychological boost to the batting team.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting how, it's more than just the runs.
Yeah.
It's the whole,
It's the impact it has.
yeah, the impact it has on the other side.
On the mentality of the game.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's like they say, every run counts in Test cricket.
Yeah.
And that resilience from South Africa's lower order really set the stage for how the rest of the match unfolded.
So we've talked about South Africa's innings,
Yeah.
all the drama there.
Yeah.
What about Bangladesh?
Yeah.
They're facing a pretty big deficit at this point.
They were. But this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
They didn't just roll over. In their second innings, they showed a different side to their batting.
Okay.
A lot more fight, a lot more determination.
So what changed for them?
Well, their opening partnership was much stronger this time around.
Okay.
Mamadou Hassan Joy and Najmul Hussain Shanto put on a solid 55-run partnership,
Okay.
which was a significant improvement from their first innings.
Right.
It showed that they had learned from their mistakes and were determined to put up a better fight.
Now, remember how we talked about those lower order runs being so important for South Africa?
Yeah.
Well, Bangladesh had a similar story with Mushfiqur Rahim. He came in to bat at number 7
Right.
and really kind of injected some energy into their innings.
He did. Raheem's known for his aggressive batting style,
Yeah.
and he didn't disappoint.
Yeah.
He smashed 31 runs off just 26 balls,
Wow.
hitting some beautiful shots along the way.
Yeah.
You know, even though Bangladesh were still trailing by a big margin,
Yeah.
his innings brought a spark of excitement to the match.
Yeah, it's funny how two wicketkeeper batsmen, Verreynne and Rahim,
Right.
ended up playing such crucial roles for their respective teams.
It is.
It really shows how important that position has become in modern cricket.
It does. Wicketkeepers are no longer just specialists behind the stumps.
Right.
They need to be skilled batsmen as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
capable of contributing valuable runs.
Yeah.
And Verreynne and Rahim are both prime examples of that.
Yeah.
They've shown that wicketkeepers can be match winners
Right.
with both the bat and the gloves.
So even though Bangladesh were putting up a good fight in their second innings,
Yeah.
South Africa still had their bowling attack to contend with.
Right. And they brought in the big guns, Kagiso Rabada,
Okay.
one of the most feared fast bowlers in world cricket.
Okay, so I've heard that name before.
Yeah.
What makes him so special?
Well, he's got this incredible ability to generate pace and bounce from the pitch,
Okay.
which makes him a nightmare for batsmen.
Right.
You know, Rabada can bowl consistently over 90 miles per hour, and his deliveries often rise sharply off the pitch,
Yeah.
forcing batsmen into really uncomfortable positions.
Right.
Plus, he's got a deadly Yorker,
Mm-hmm.
which is a delivery that's aimed at the base of the stumps,
Right.
making it extremely difficult to defend.
So basically, he's a kind of bowler who can just turn a match around in an instant.
Exactly, and that's exactly what he did in Bangladesh's second innings.
Yeah.
He took 2 early wickets,
Wow.
putting them on the back foot right from the start.
Yeah.
Those early strikes set the tone for South Africa's eventual victory.
Okay.
It was a classic display of fast bowling dominance.
So at that point, it sounds like the match was pretty much over, wrapped up.
Well, not so fast.
Oh.
Remember, this is Test cricket.
Right.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
And the end of day 2 brought a moment of incredible drama and controversy.
I remember reading about this, that final over
Yes.
where Mamadou Hassan Joy was almost given out stumped.
Yeah.
That must have been a heart-stopping moment for everyone involved. Yeah.
So Hassan Joy was trying to defend a delivery from Keshav Maharaj,
Okay.
who's a South African spinner.
Right?
The ball spun sharply, and Hassan Joy missed it completely.
Oh.
He was out of his crease.
Oh.
And Verreynne, the wicketkeeper, whipped off the bails in a flash.
Oh, wow.
So the South African players went up in a huge appeal,
Yeah.
convinced that they had their man.
So what happened? Did the umpire give him out?
Well, the on-field umpire took his time, carefully considered the situation.
Yeah.
He referred the decision to the third umpire,
Okay.
who has access to multiple camera angles and slow-motion replays.
Yeah.
And the tension was palpable as everyone waited for the verdict.
This is like one of those nail-biting moments in a thriller movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Where you're just on the edge of your seat.
Totally.
So what did the third umpire decide?
Yeah.
Well, after what felt like an eternity,
Yeah.
the decision came through. Not out. The replays showed that Asanjoy's back foot was just barely touching the ground once the crease
Wow.
when the bails were removed.
Wow. Talk about a lucky escape.
It was an incredibly close call,
Yeah.
a matter of millimeters,
That's incredible.
and it left everyone wondering, what if he had been given out?
Right.
Could Bangladesh have survived the night
Yeah.
and fought their way back into the match on day 3?
Mm.
Or was South Africa's victory inevitable?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
It really makes you think about the fine margins
absolutely.
that can sometimes determine the outcome of a test match. A single decision,
Yeah.
a moment of brilliance,
Yeah.
or a stroke of luck
Yeah,
can completely change the course of the game.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing how those tiny margins, those split-second decisions
Mm-hmm.
can have such a big impact on the match.
Yeah.
I'm definitely curious to know how it all played out on day 3.
I bet you are. That's what makes Test cricket so captivating, Ray.
Yeah.
You never really know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
It's a game of patience, strategy, and resilience,
Yeah.
where momentum can shift in an instant.
Okay, so before we go, let's kind of zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
What does this match tell us about South Africa and Bangladesh going forward?
Well, for South Africa, this win reaffirms their status as a powerhouse in Test cricket.
Right.
They've got a great blend of experienced players like Rabada and exciting young talent like Verreynne.
Yeah, Verreynne's performance was really something else.
Oh, absolutely.
But you mentioned earlier that they almost kind of fumbled their advantage with that middle order collapse. Is that something that they need to work on?
Definitely. That middle order wobble exposed a potential vulnerability.
Yeah.
They can't afford to become complacent, especially against stronger opponents.
Right.
They need to find more consistency in their batting lineup if they want to challenge for top honors.
What about Bangladesh? I mean, they ultimately lost the match, but they showed a lot of grit and determination.
It did.
Especially in their second innings.
Yeah. So Bangladesh might not be at the same level as South Africa yet,
Right.
but their team on the rise.
Okay.
They've got some talented players, and their fighting spirit was admirable.
It's like they kind of discovered a new level of resilience in this match.
Absolutely. And that's something they can build on for future matches.
Right.
You know, they need to work on their consistency, both in batting and bowling.
Yeah.
But they have the potential to cause some upsets
Yeah.
and challenge the top teams.
Right.
Remember, they were so close to surviving that final over on day 2.
Right.
That shows they have the ability to compete at the highest level.
It's inspiring to see that even in defeat, there are valuable lessons to be learned and potential for growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
This match wasn't just about the final score.
Yeah.
It was about those individual moments of brilliance, the
Yeah.
strategic battles, and the unwavering spirit displayed by both teams.
Absolutely.
So I think we've successfully unpacked this test match.
Yeah, I think so.
Any final thoughts for our listener before we wrap up?
Well, if you're interested in learning more,
Yeah.
I encourage you to check out the full scorecard for the match
Okay.
and read up on the players we've discussed.
Yeah.
You'll gain even more insight into their individual styles and the tactical nuances of the game.
It's like those extra features on a DVD, right? Right. You get to go behind the scenes Oh, and fun. discover even more about the making of the movie.
Precisely, and who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe this deep dive has sparked a new interest in Test cricket for you.
Yeah.
It's a game full of surprises, drama, and captivating storylines.
Totally.
You never know what kind of nail-biting finish you might witness next.
Well said.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
my pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the things that fascinate you.